Hello, this is your instructor, Deborah Maness, and I'm giving you a course tour of our Blackboard course. If you look in the course menu at the top, you will see the course entry quiz. It is very important that you take this quiz first. Once you take the quiz, a grade will show in the grade book. But once the last date of entry for the course is, I will give everyone 100 for this course entry quiz. So this is to your advantage to take this first. If you do not take this course entry quiz, the Register of Wake Tech will purge you from the class and you will no longer be enrolled. Each time you log into Blackboard, you will see announcements, and I will continue to keep the announcements each week, so you can go back and review announcements from week 1 when we're in week 12 if you want to go back and review this information. Our welcome announcement is basic. You can see the welcome, the textbook. Please log into Blackboard several times weekly. It's probably going to take you more than 1 hour to complete most weekly assignments, so you'll be working in Word and coming back to Blackboard, so make sure you're logging in and completing the assignments. The syllabus is a book. In the syllabus, you're going to see department requirements, division requirements, and then at the very end, you will see our course schedule for my plans for each week of the course. Again, don't forget the course entry quiz. Here, you'll see my office hours. I do try to answer emails pretty quickly on the weekend. I typically take Saturday off, but if I'm looking and see it, I'll try to respond. Friday night to Sunday afternoon is kind of my no official work zone, but I'm always grading or doing something. So if I see the email, I will respond to it, but just understand that that's kind of like my my block time. So you may not get a response if you do it late on Friday or Saturday. Once you have taken the course entry quiz, I'd like you to look at getting started. This just gives you the basics of the class. Time management in an online class is very, very important. You need to make sure that you're keeping up with that Wednesday due date. Since our course, the semester begins on a Wednesday, all of the assignments will always be due Wednesday at midnight. It's smart to try to get them done by Monday, and that way you don't have to worry about missing a deadline. So you see that with attendance. All weekly assignments are due on Wednesday. In this course, you'll see that you're going to have 3 required papers. There'll be quizzes on both grammar and the readings that I ask you to do. There'll be discussions where I ask you to introduce yourself first and then respond to questions and to others in the class. Every time we write a paper, I will ask you to submit your paper for a peer in the class to read and offer comments. In addition, I will offer comments. So this is a part that you do not want to miss because it will greatly improve your grade if you use both your peers and then look at my suggestions. And then of course you'll be turning in those papers. And notice I put it twice on purpose because that's where 60% of your grade is. Here is how the course is organized when you look back up into the course menu. The best way to communicate with me is through email because I check it regularly, several times a day, and try to respond as quick as possible. I do teach on the Western Wake campus in Cary on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'm on the main campus to work in the Real Center on Wednesdays from 10 to 12:30, so that you'll see on Wednesdays I have some office hours in the Pusher LeMay building and then work in the Real Center. On Tuesday and Thursday I have some office hours on Western Wake. If you ever want to meet me in person, you can come during those hours or you can make an appointment and I will try to come to a time that's good for both of us. Grading is on a 10-point scale in this class. Essays are the majority of your grade, 60%. Assignments, the reading quizzes, the peer reviews, the discussion board post, all of the daily kinds of things that I ask you to do for support and mastery of the writing skills are 25%, and then the final exam, which is online, is 15%. So in your course menu, begin with the course entry quiz. review the announcements, review getting started, faculty information. You'll see my information. I am EPIC certified, which means that I have been trained to teach online. Most of what I ask you to do will be in lessons. You can see that there are 4 units. I'll add a 5th unit that will be the final exam during the last week of the course. So you'll begin with Unit 1. And each week I do a Maness Minute. And in this Maness Minute I do a very brief review of what's due this week and give you some tips on how to complete those successfully. I try to keep them to a minute so they're real quick and easy, and it lets you meet me and hear my voice and see what I look like, since this is an online course. So you can see in week 1 you're just looking at basic information. If you go back to lessons again, you will see the introduction to the course, Module 1. Notice that I keep all of your course information in a table of contents format, so you can go through the information very easily. Some of this is from another course. I apologize. Ours is going to be down here in lessons and assignments. Let me go. This is where our course is. I apologize. I will make that part of lessons hidden when I go back into out of the student view. So here is your introduction to the course. Week 1 lessons. You'll see my Maness Minute. Here's yours. Okay, week 1. There's a PowerPoint that goes through. Here's a Word document that has our course schedule. Open the syllabus and then take this quick syllabus quiz. This is not meant to trick you up. Notice that the last question is, I have read the course syllabus, the professional contract, the academic integrity policy at Wake Tech, and the Wake Tech student behavior expectations. I understand that I'm in agreement with these policies. Please click True. I will be looking to see, and then you will save and submit your answers. To see your score anytime you take a quiz, you click on OK, and it will go back to the quiz, and you can see I didn't actually take it, so I've gotten a 0. On all the quizzes, I do give you 2 opportunities, so if you have trouble with the internet or something like that, you'll have a second attempt. In the introduction discussion board, you'll see that I provide a rubric. You will be able to see this rubric when you look into my grades. So now I'm going to go back to here. You go into week 2. Here's my Maness Minute reviewing, and the content in our English courses is fairly heavy. So again, you can see, make sure that you look at the week's directions. I always give the purpose. I typically copy and paste the directions for the week and the tasks for the week into announcements and email these to you. But you can see when you scroll to the bottom, the 3 things that you'll need to complete by the due date are to email me, and I provide my email address, and you need to have a Wake Tech email address, to complete the diagnostic that is provided, and to read the information on the writing process and take this quiz. So if you go through the directions, you'll see there's a lot more here than what I am assessing. It's important that you look at all this information because I'm holding you accountable for the information in the writing that you will be submitting to me. So I know sometimes it's tempting just to go straight to the bottom and only complete what's here, but please take time to go back and follow each of the directions so that you can be the most successful in the class. The collaboration is where you'll find the blackboards. If you have questions, you can submit it here. Other peers or other class members are welcome to answer, and I will provide an answer also. I've introduced myself. Notice in the discussion board, I ask you to introduce yourself. So you click on Directions. You can click Reply to answer mine. And then you may want to add your name here in the subtitle, and you'll type your introduction here. Now don't forget that there's a rubric for this introduction. If you want to look at that rubric, go to My Grades, and I am going to leave this page, and you will see here course entry quiz. If you scroll down, there is an introduction discussion, and these are all the assignments that you'll have this semester. Introduction to discussion board. So here's where you can review the rubric. If you do not submit, you'll receive a 0. If you submit but do not respond, or if you respond and do not submit, you'll get the lowest grade of a C, just for, and notice that that is needs improvement. If you submit but do not write very much, you get a B. I start off fairly easy. If you submit and there's some good elaboration, just a few errors, you can get proficient at 90. And then if you submit, respond to 2 classmates, and there are very few errors, you will get 100. You can exit. So again, whenever you're looking for the rubrics or your grades, you will go in Blackboard to My Grades. Course resources is where I've given you tips for polite netiquette, which is how we talk to one another online. MLA is the format that you'll be writing in. Please refer to the template. You'll be doing MLA citations, so I've given you tips there. This is a site that gives you help with grammar. And then the rest, if you exhaust some of these, I have included tips for success in the class, and then just other resources for easy reference that you might need. And all of these are in course resources. My tools, if you need help with technical support, you'll click here. And again, I will move the lessons and assignments and the collaboration and discussion here. So you will see these after you open the class after this course preview. So I hope we have a good semester together. Thank you so much for enrolling in my course, and I look forward to working with you.